Hello everybody, John Fulford here. Today we're going to talk about the 80-20 rule for musicians. Before we get started, I want to remind you about my web store at fulfordsworld.com, link in the description. It has links to some custom instruments I made, as well as the TV and film Mega Panel audio pack containing special panelist bios and submission email addresses. So check that out when you get a chance, fulfordsworld.com. Now we're going to talk about the 80-20 principle for musicians. So the 80-20 principle was first thought of by this Italian guy named Pareto, P-A-R-E-T-O. I don't know if that's how you pronounce it, but that's how it's spelled. And he says that 80% of the outcomes are completed by 20% of the inputs. For instance, 80% of the home runs are hit by 20% of the batters, okay? 80% of the speeding tickets are given to 20% of the drivers. So now, how does the 80-20 rule apply to musicians? This is the John Fulford 80-20 rule. This is my spin on it. It's not the normal 80-20 rule, okay? Whenever I speak to musicians, and they are part-time musicians, and they say they want to become full-time, they usually break down into two camps of people. When I ask them, how much money would it take for you to quit your job and focus on music full-time? Okay, they break down into two types of people. The people that say, I'll need 80 grand a year to quit my day job. It's always 80 grand. It's never 60 grand. It's never 100 grand. It's like 80. They don't want to say 100, but they don't want to cheapen themselves out by saying less. They usually say 80 grand. I don't know why that is. And then some say, look, I just need enough money to pay my bills. Give me like 20 grand a year, just enough to pay my bills, and I could quit my day job and focus on music full time. Okay? So, quickly recap. When I ask, how much money would it take for you to make in music before you quit your day job and focus solely on music? Some people say, I'll need 80 grand a year. Other people say, look, just give me 20 grand a year and in music royalties, and I'll quit my day job and focus solely on music. Okay? It usually breaks down to either 80,000 or 20,000. 80-20. Now, after 8 years of asking people, 100% of the people that say they would need $80,000 a year in music before they quit their day job are still at their day job. 100% of the people that say, look, just give me $20,000 a year and I'll quit my job and work on music, 100% of those people are now working full-time in music, all of which make more than $20,000 a year. Okay, it's the 80-20 principle, okay? So when you're at a music conference or a music event and someone says they'll quit their day job and work solely on music, but they'll need $80,000 a year to do so, they're probably not gonna be a full-time musician. But when you meet that person and they say, look, just give me enough money to pay my bills and pay my basic necessities to live, and I can focus even more on music, those are the people that you want to work with, okay? And it's pretty obvious why, okay? You make just enough to pay your bills, you quit your day job, now you have all that time to work on music and grow your career. But if you're waiting to make $80,000 a year in music before you quit your day job, that's very, very difficult. Essentially, these people want to make 80 grand a year at a part-time job before they'll quit their day job and work full-time in music. Now, I don't know of very many part-time jobs that pay $80,000 a year, okay? So, when you're speaking to people, find out what their number is that they'll need to make in music to quit their day job and work solely on music, and you'll know who to work with and who to avoid. I hope you enjoyed the video. Thanks again for watching. Here's some more videos you might like. Don't forget to subscribe and email me musiclicensingpodcast@gmail.com to join the John Fulford YouTube community. See you next time.